Yo, down at Hobbytown, second part of our class today, panel lining. Now, is there always a great debate, which of course Shoki's channel will have this as well, the great debate of when do you panel line? That's a discussion for another day. What we're talking about is the different methods and different ways to panel line your gun plug, model kits of any type or anything like that. Generally most gun plug, because they're pre-color snap together kits, today we're going to focus on the parts as they are, not painted, not specially treated or anything like that.
Straight off the runner.
So what we have here, we have your standard felt tip fine line Gundam marker or Gundam liner. Then you have the pour type Gundam marker, which is a lot of fluid being flowed into the crevices. And another popular one, the Tamiya panel line accent color black. Today's piece is part of the Star Blazers 2202 Unagi Cosmo Fleet set. It's the lower hull of the main ship of the 3-ship collection. And there's a lot of good surface detail and mold detail in there that will really show off all of these systems.
Nice.
Anything other than the felt tip marker, something else you want to keep handy? Paper towel, soft cloth, Q-tips, things like that, and 91% rubbing alcohol. This is not for drinking, kids. This is actually for cleaning up your work. Works very, very effectively too. So first things first, we'll go with good old traditional Gundam marker in black. So with your piece, whether it be on the runner or as a built kit, you can just get into the crevice and run down your lines.
It's really good for more straight lines and creases.
Usually you want to follow up with rubbing your thumb or finger or a cloth. If you don't want black thumb, get yourself a piece of Q-tip or paper towel. It's really, really good basic. It's a really good way to start panel lining. It's not the most precise system in the world, but it will get the job done. And they do come in other colors. You have gray, brown, and black. So that takes care of the fine line felt tip Gundam marker. Next, the pour type.
Yay. That's what I personally use.
Get one that's already primed. So you'll know when it's primed because the tip will be the color of the ink. So what you usually want to do is you want to hold your piece up, let gravity do the work for you. When you touch it to it, give it a little push.
Ooh.
And as you can see, it fills in the areas for you. You're probably looking at these heavier black marks and going, yeah, but what do you do about those? Well, that is what the rubbing alcohol and the paper towel are for.
Or you could also use your thumb in most cases.
Yep.
If for some reason you don't have paper towels.
Now, depending on how well, or if you even do, wash your parts or coat your parts or anything like that, will determine how this stuff flows. This is cut straight from the sprue, fresh out of the plastic, so I didn't wash off the mold release. Some kits, they use a little bit more mold release than others. Some brands, same thing. So you might get stoppage. Whereas that was going up faster than it was going down. That's because there's going to be a lot of mold release down in there. And then you'll find spots that have like next to no mold release in it, and boom, you're off to the races.
And in some cases, as we were discussing before the camera was rolling on my particular Grays kit, if you don't have a very crisp panel line, it can also lead to stoppages and things just not flowing properly.
Just like this little section in here.
Yes, that looks like a trouble zone. But that's also why you can just shade it as you sort of did.
Now, with this piece here, what I really like about these pour type markers is you could just go in there, it fills in all of that. You just go over. A lot of your Star Wars kits too,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to coat the whole thing just like slathering it with a brush.
Especially if you have something that's like a grate or a grill, and you have to go over every square inch of it.
And now, back that panel liner.
Good, other side.
Now,
He'll put one drop and the entire thing will be complete.
just about. This stuff, you do have, you have a little bit of a fine round tip to it. And as you can see, it's a lot more fluid, a lot thinner, and it leaves less of a mark spot. You can also get a little bit more in depth around a raised surface detail, like these little round pieces here.
Now, is the tip of that thing more like a brush, or is it?
Oh, it's very much a brush.
Okay, gotcha. I haven't got to
It
play with that
actually,
before.
it actually has bristles.
I can't actually see what you're doing. There you go. It's like your big old lion ring was in the way.
It
Nice.
does have
Okay.
bristles.
Yeah, I figured it was very similar to the way the Tamiya cement works.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in application, not not to be confused with trying to use your cement as panel liner.
Yeah, extra thin cement is not used for lining, folks.
Yep. Shout out to Christian.
But,
Hey, it's an easy accident.
but the nice thing about either the pour type or the Tamiya panel liner is you could just go over a grill pattern and fill all that in, and then you'll just come up and do the cleanup, which I'll show you here in just a moment.
Woohoo, clean up.
But it definitely helps to let gravity do the work for you.
Oh, for sure.
And the Tamiya also comes in different colors as well. So you can get brown, you can get gray. Their gray is significantly lighter. So even on white kit parts, it's really, really hard to see it with only just one application.
Now, actually, the pour type markers come in the widest variety of colors.
Yes.
You got green, orange, blue, along with the standard gray and brown. Because personally, I like to use green on green kits. I like to use orange on red kits.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like, oh, I'm sorry, brown. I use brown on red kits.
Brown on red, orange on yellow.
Yep.
So
Yeah, because the first time since I've been building, I used orange actually on something. I think it wasn't a bright yellow piece. Woohoo, alcohol.
trick with the alcohol is you really don't want to apply it full strength like that. So you do want to kind of air it out and then back fold where you splashed out. And it's just the lightest of touches, really.
Yeah, you just wanted to take it off that excess, off
Yeah,
the surface.
just right off the surface. Of course, you get down in there sometime. Sometimes you'll get down in there and you're like, oh no, I wiped it off. Well,
Never go back, Jack.
well, you always go back and you do it some more. See, like I accidentally wiped out too much there.
How dare you?
No, well, that happens.
Shallow panel line.
Mm-hmm.
So I like a good stiff Q-tip for that.
Yes.
Like not the soft ones, but a good, hard, dense Q-tips because they won't get into the panel lines. They'll just clean the surface.
Yep. And we do, Hobbytown does have the Mr. Hobby Q-tips now, which are very dense.
Mm-hmm. I got some last time. Yeah, shine that part.
It's almost like shining a shoe. Now, the Tamiya takes a little bit more work and effort to get off of there.
But it'll come out.
It does. Now, if you're from the school of, oh, I need to paint and things like that beforehand, what you do is you go and get you some Pledge Floor Care Plus, and it's the clear bottle with the blue and white label. Do not get the lemon scented stuff, because that just actually does not work, in all honesty. But you can airbrush it straight out of the bottle, and you only need a single action airbrush for it, because what you're doing is you're coating it at this point. Let it dry a good at least 4 hours, and then do your Tamiya panel liner, and it'll actually work better than the Gundam pour type at that point. But the Tamiya panel liner, what you do then to salvage the acrylic, or to safeguard the acrylic but remove the panel liner, is you get Zippo lighter fluid.
Okay.
And you wipe down your excess. We'll remove the Tamiya stuff, the excess, without hurting the acrylic protectant, and that acrylic protectant makes it so easy to panel line. Yeah, the Tamiya stuff requires a little bit more elbow grease, a little bit more work.
Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of people have probably also found out, like myself included, if you try to just straight up paint a kit and then panel line on top of it, you end up with incredibly bad results.
Yes, especially Gundam marker paints, because all of Gundam marker products are alcohol based. So when you apply that ink job onto your painted pieces, you're basically putting solvent right there. So you're removing the paint, but you've already filled your panel line with the paint. There's nothing for it to wick through. There's nothing for it to color.
Yep.
Using the felt tip markers, you're really best using it on raw plastic.
Yep.
For painted kits of any type, you definitely want to use, yes, it's an extra step, but you definitely want to use the pledge method. It airbrushes straight from the bottle. All you need is a single action airbrush with 15 to 30 pounds. It doesn't matter. It's going to coat. You just lightly mist over it, let it sit for 4 hours, and then use this and Zippo lighter fluid to clean it up.
Well, what about those who don't have an airbrush and have to do old school rattle can clear coat?
You can get the Tamiya gloss coat. That will work to an extent, but this stuff is lacquer based just like the clear coat, so it's actually going to tint it.
You would have to get a different base
Right.
of clear coat.
And so in a case like that, you want to go with the pour type Gundam marker.
Because it's alcohol based and it won't
Because it's
affect it.
alcohol, right, and it will actually treat it like an acrylic on top of an oil, where the water will be just like, ooh, just wick down a lot faster, and it's easier to clean up. Because you can use rubbing alcohol on lacquer paint and not scar it. And of course you always want to use a top coat, whether it be a semi-gloss or a flat matte. At some point you're going to do an ultimate gloss, so you're going to have some marring and things. The only way to do it without marring it at all, pledge. Plus, the bonus of pledge is you can get the little $25 airbrush kit that comes with a propellant can and the little squeeze top.
Yeah, so you don't need a
So you don't need a full
compressor.
You don't need a full compressor. You don't need a full kit. You can always buy extra cans of air and just use your airbrush for solely pledging.
Yeah,
You don't have to do all that custom airbrushing stuff.
it's a pledge brush.
It is a pledge brush. But as you can see, the differences, you're going to have more tinting on raw plastic with the Tamiya. You're going to have cleaner results, again, on the raw plastic with the pour type and the felt type Gundam markers. So,
Yeah, because you can see this side is actually a darker color versus the other. Yep.
and that's not just the shadow of the light from the
Yeah,
brush.
no, it actually is covering the surface a little bit, tinting it, as you said. Yep. Because I've seen that definitely before, usually.
Now that will cause some weathering that looks good on Star Wars kits. So that's actually not a bad thing. But be careful where you put your dots at that point, because that's what you're going to wind up leaving behind as well.
Now, there is another method that I was just reminded of when you said that. The real touch markers could also technically be used for more shading rather than panel lining, but you
Yes.
can do it.
Yes, you can.
Because they are basically a felt tip style. Hey, Christian. He did it. I don't have my supplies on me, or else, yeah. But I forgot about that because when I did not have any real touch, yeah, you got the black one too. But yeah, the real touch essentially works exactly the same, but on a larger.
Yes, the real touch
Scale.
markers, which is where these basically came from. The real touch markers, you had the fine tip, which, since I still have space right here, you can get down in there. And if you layer on enough of it, it fills
Yeah, it is super
nice and
light.
dark.
It is a super light thing because I use them for weathering, but I have used certain ones for panel lining things before I had the pour type. And of course, you have dual ends on there. You got the big
You get the
marker
big
type,
brush type. So you get down, fill that in
getting a
there.
big crevice and really color it out. And you can layer the colors and stuff like that, so if you really want to get in there, and they won't really affect each other that much.
Yep.
And you just wipe away the excess.
And may I see your black one, Christian?
Yeah, you.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah. And these come in a multitude of colors as well.
They most certainly do. So here, we'll go in with a little bit of black for the lining itself. Now, I'm sure some of you are watching this going, man, that looks messy. Yeah, just wait.
But wait.
There's more.
Well, there will be less. You'll sure.
So-
tell.
Actually, I was hoping I had my blending pen, but I don't.
Oh, I don't have mine on me either.
Yeah, I don't have.
I didn't bring any of my
brushes.
supplies with me.
I don't have any of my brushes either. But what I'm doing is not as indicative of what it can do. If you have a paintbrush, it's actually the best. But I'll just do some little blotting here. So what you're doing is you're kind of thinning, but also spreading the ink around.
I can't actually see it. Oh, yeah. So you're basically smudging it around is what you're doing.
Yep.
Here we go. Now we can see.
And you see I'm spreading it into other parts of the kit.
And that's where the blending marker comes in.
Yep.
Except mine tended to act more like a sponge rather than pushing
Yeah.
things around. It tended to absorb rather than move stuff.
But you also have a lot of ink to play with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're going to load up like I am here. You're going to load up really fast on your. That's why I like doing it with a paintbrush, because you'll
Yeah.
continually move it. The amount I put on here, you could effectively weather this whole section right down through here with the paintbrush. So, but even for just general inking in different colors and levels,
Oh, yeah.
you can get a lot of nice effects.
And for those on my channel, at least, who have seen my custom weathered gun tank, that was done almost exclusively with the Real Touch markers.
Yes, it was.
So you can really do a lot of work just with those, not just panel lining. But that's a whole different tutorial.
Yeah, which one day we hope to have. This is the first of many master classes that we're hosting here. And of course, those of you who are watching this will find it not only on Shoki's page. Again, thank you very much for all the hard work you put in for us and do with us here. We're also going to have our own YouTube page. And as well as and these will also be posted on our Facebook page as well.
It'll be a wide reach.
Exactly. And we want to reach as many people as we can. We invite you here to our meeting room, Hobbytown, Houston, Highway 6. Come, enjoy, learn from each other. I'm learning new stuff every day as well. So, you know, we have guys who've been modeling for 50 years learning new things. And we have kids in here who doing it for the first time, and they're adventurous. They try it out. They love it. That's what we need.
The next generation.
But of course, I'm Dion. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned and enjoyed the videos. So just like Shoki here, be sure to thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And join us at Hobbytown, Houston on Highway 6. We're the only one in town. Come and see us. Get your gunpla on.
Yep. And remember, as always, guys, keep on building.
Peace.